Thank you. I call the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I want to join with members who have acknowledged the ceremony which took place in the House during our dinner break and the people who have fallen in the most recent campaigns. I think all of those campaigns have been in the time that I've been a Member of Parliament, and I know that governments have very serious decisions to commit troops to them. We have done it in the knowledge that the chances are we would lose people. We have, but that doesn't make it any easier. And I think, Mr Speaker, as many of us do know the families of people who have fallen, that makes it harder still. One lives in hope, Mr Speaker, that we won't have to add to the names on our wall, but that in the end, Mr Speaker, I think governments of New Zealand will do what is right, and that sometimes involves the deployment of our troops overseas. Mr Speaker, I'd now like to move to the bill before the House to commend the Minister for listening to the submissions, but to say that I'm very disappointed that the bill has come up under urgency. Mr Speaker, I think if, even frankly, if Michael Woodhouse was still a whip and had something to do with the organisation of the House, this bill would not have come up under urgency. It could have come up Thursday afternoon next week when we have an extended sitting. It is something which is, I think the policy is supported unanimously. It probably could have gone through the House in half an hour and in an extended sitting, and we wouldn't have had an extended debate as we will have after this on the referral. But because it has come up under urgency, it is the tradition, and where a bill whether a bill is supported or not, it is the tradition, and really the only approach that an opposition can take is to use its time in order to debate this. And I'll say that having read the regulatory impact statement, it is a bill which is not supported by the Minister's officials, and it is good to see a Minister acting with some backbone and to stare down the officials and to make decisions. And for the owners of around 120 cinemas, as there are in New Zealand, I just say that I'm surprised that there's only that many, because of the way that they have been sort of developing and redeveloping and opening around New Zealand. In recent years. I thought there would have been more. I do want to, at this point, acknowledge and pay tribute to Dick Wherry, who was a local Hutt Valley former regional councillor, son of a former mayor, and someone who bought the old Labour Party hall, which was, I think, built in 1926, opened in 1927 by the then leader of the Labour Party, Harry Holland, and over many years. And I can't remember all of them, especially in the early stages. There were lots of Labour Party dances and concerts and meetings and film shows, but that is now very well preserved and commemorated in that hall. And Dick Wherry has got it pretty much right with light meals, lots of food available, wine, high quality ice creams, and other things, and gets a regular clientele because there is a good range of movies, and has sessions for young mothers and kids, sessions that are designed in particular for older people, both of those during the daytime, and works well to build up the use. Changed a bit, I think, Mr Speaker, since the days when, from memory, I think I used to be given 1 and 6 to go from one UMR over to what I think was called the Empire theatre, which was on the corner of White's Line East. What's that?
Were they silent movies? Or?
No. It's a pity. No. It wasn't silent movies, but I think one of the early ones that I can remember when I think I was 5 was Ben-Hur, and so they were, I think it won an Academy Award.
Is it epic?
Well, it was, but and I want to say, yes, I did see it the first time around for members. It wasn't a you cheeky young thing. It wasn't on a rerun. I think it's fair to say that tastes have moved on and theatre styles have moved on a bit since that time. We have seen some unusual ones. I think probably the most unusual theatre I've been in is the Wharekai at the. My friend Tohanari might be able to remind me of the main marae at Tiki Tiki, where the van used to come around every month with the latest movies, and on one particular occasion, just before we'd been visiting up there, and the van would back up to the door of the Wharekai, and the projector would go in and the screen would go up, and all the locals, and they'd mainly come on horses because it was the early 1970s, and that was the main method of transport around Tiki Tiki. Lots of hitching posts, and people would come along, but as old KD Korajus told me, they were there was a cowboy and Indian movie going on, and as the what? Why can't you cowboy in India? Oh, Russia! Oh, steady on. Oh, come on! Oh, Darian. Mr. Speaker, the bad guy was lining up a shot at the good guy when from the back of the Wharekai outrigger shot, and one of the locals put a hole in the temporary screen at the front and right out the back wall of the Wharekai as well. So that was an unusual sort of type of theatre, and Korajus did indicate to me that if I didn't behave myself, then he'd call the people back. But times have moved on. I think all of us have our favourite movies, Mr. Speaker. I'm not ashamed to admit that Notting Hill is mine. It is, what? Notting Hill? Oh, come on! Oh. I mean, can anything be more beautiful than Julia Roberts? Anna Scott, Mr. Speaker. And I've got some doubts about this. I mean, I think we're unlikely to ever see another movie like it. So therefore, waiting 5 months, mightn't be the end of the world. But if I knew I'd had to wait 9 months for Notting Hill to come back in the old days, sir, I would have been very, very disappointed. That was, of course, with Hugh Grant, who played William Thacker in it, the Rhys Ifans, who played Spike. I think that, Mr. Speaker, that was an unforgettable character. And I mean, there's nothing like a decent romantic comedy, Mr. Speaker. I noticed some laughter over there from the member sitting next to this was in the pre-Divine Brown days of Hugh Grant. It was when we had him in a different class. I think. A lot of us are not quite sure what we think about Hugh Grant these days. But the thing that we are certain about, Mr. Speaker, is that this bill is an important window in a transition that is occurring. I think the one thing that we do know is that we don't know what's going to happen as far as movies and IT and the convergence of television and the net. And Mr. Speaker, I think what this does is give us a bit of a transition period so that organisations, people can invest in theatres, good social opportunities, Mr. Speaker, for people. They're a good place for people to get out to, and this will help their survival. Mr. Speaker, I'll repeat right at the end, what I said at the beginning, this bill would not be being debated now if it was done in normal time or an extended sitting. We could have got through it in 10 minutes or quarter of an hour, and the fact that the government's decided to take an hour and a half under urgency just seems to me to be a disorganisation on their part. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
And watch silent movies. I call the honourable member Mark Mitchell.
Mr. Speaker, could I also please